simply because those units move much faster on creep, those Zerg units. We see an Ultra then going down, 2 Evo chambers. Obviously he has 3 bases, so he can support Ultralisk, double upgrades, and what else? More upgrades? No. And roaches, I was going to say. Banelings, I think he will be using these against the SCVs, and I like this play. He hit them up there, he didn't go this way, he went the other way around, so his opponent won't see, and just takes out so many SCVs, and you can see it goes around from 36 to 22. He takes out 14 SCVs. That's huge, especially to an opponent that's at a economic disadvantage. So really, I don't see Clamchop losing this game. It's just a matter of whether he will end it sooner, or whether he will take his time, expand even more, tech up even more, and end it later. No pathogen glands for his infestors. Again, I think a small mistake, because okay, these 3 infestors are on full energy now, but maybe if he loses those infestors, the new ones he gets will not be spawning with enough energy to be neural parasiting, or rather mind controlling immediately. So small mistakes there. He's droning quite hard here at this point in the game, simply because he has these Del Naga watchtowers, very good. You know, has total map control, map scouting. Well, he doesn't have total map control, simply well, because he doesn't have that creep spread enough. If he did, he would have total map control, but he knows that his opponent is in no position to be pushing out any time soon, so he can just use this time to produce a lot of harvesters, a lot of drones, and saturate all of his bases. And because look at his he's pretty much double, he has pretty much double the income of his opponent, which will make which will really secure his victory. That armor upgrade is finished for every unit, Zerg unit, and also that ultra armor upgrade. Again, some baneling harassment, very good. Took out almost took out that command center. If maybe one baneling, there was one baneling more, he probably would have taken out that command center, or maybe 2 banelings, which would have inflicted even more damage to his opponent. Expanding, his mineral count is going a bit high, but that's because he had 3 fully saturated bases, and now his macro is actually pretty good because he's using those inject larvae, and he's getting a lot of units at once, because this is what you can do as a Zerg. He's getting a lot of roaches, he has a lot of ultras. If we look, he has 5 ultras, 22 roaches, still 15 banelings, 3 queens, 17 zerglings, and 3 infestors. Very, very important, these infestors. Displacement of infestors is good. Those ultras, really, all of them should be here. There's no reason why you would want all your ultras up there, because ultras are useless up there. And as you can see, those 2 ultras that were there alone just got sniped. Very good neural parasites here. Terran forced to scan now to take out that 1 infestor, but his army will be taken out by these ultralists with +1 attack upgrade, and these roaches, banelings, and zerglings. For some reason, Clamchop is pulling back these ultralists. Sure, they're a bit low on health, but they could still do damage. Because he's still counterattacking with only roaches. Those zerglings getting a bit ahead because they have the speed upgrade. I mean, a counterattack when you just defended and defeated your opponent's army when he was attacking you is a very good. Counterattacking is very good in StarCraft 2, as it was in StarCraft 1. However, like I said before, that creep spread would have helped him out so much, because then he could have gotten those units so much faster in his opponent's base. And secondly, he didn't have those glial reconstitution, which gives the speed upgrade to the roaches. So those roaches were really slow to get into his opponent's base. And also, I don't agree that he pulled off those ultralists, because if he got those ultras in there as well, they could have just absolutely destroyed his opponent's economy. They could have just taken out all those SCVs. But those are just small mistakes. He doesn't really need to worry about those now, because he's so far ahead. He has a 4th base now that's running. He's mined out in his main, so he's essentially running off 3 bases, making more infestors. Good. Very good play here by Clamchop. Again, we'll see that Baneling harass. His opponent Jajang is looking to get his second expansion, but these Zerglings will not allow it, and he cancels. More Thors now. This is kind of why sometimes these rushes work against you, is because they force you into that build. They force you into that build of making those 1 units that you rushed for. For example, here the Terran rushed for Thors, and he is in a way forced to make those Thors, because that is the only thing he can support really that is strong enough to keep him in the game. Because if he tech switches, he doesn't have the economy to really make a tech switch, because if he does tech switch, his Clamchop, his opponent Clamchop, will just steamroll him, which he is about to do now, since he's fully maxed out on supply, 198 over 200, and he's making more overlords. A slight mistake there, but well, not mistake, it's more of a just a bad, I don't know what, habit, because he probably looked at her, or rather heard his the Zerg narrator, whatever you call him, saying, "Oh, you're out of supply, you need to build more overlords." So instinctively he built more overlords, even though he's 200 out of 200. But this game will be over in a couple of seconds, since Clamchop just steamrolled his opponent. And now at the end, I like the way he took his time. He never rushed into finishing the game too early. Now, he could have finished that game after that second push by the Terran, when I said that he pulled those ultralists back, but I like what he did because he took his time. He didn't risk anything. He knew, I'm very, very, very far ahead of my opponent. I can just take my time. I can sit back, macro up, get maxed out, get my upgrades, and then push out and just go have all my units grouped in one control group, just one A, and just watch the carnage, pretty much. I like that because sometimes people will focus too much on finishing the game too early. Like, they will counterattack, but they will put in too many resources into that counterattack, and they won't really back out. Now, here, when Clamchop sent in those roaches, there was no reason for him to back out because they didn't have the speed upgrade. There was no creep, and even when he lost those roaches, he wasn't really in need of those larvae to make drones, so he could have just remade those roaches. But in other situations, when the game is much closer, people sometimes invest too much into a counterattack. Now, I said, yes, counterattacks are good, but don't fight losing battles. If you're like cross positions like this, if it takes too long to simply counterattack, okay, you can send those units to try and counterattack. See what he has here at his expansion or his third or whatever. Try to do some damage, but try to make your units cost efficient. Try to make your units do more damage than they cost themselves. Don't just... If you see that he fortified his position in time, he got some static defenses up in time, he got some reinforcements up in time, then just back out and expand. If your opponent is turtling like that, expand and get an economic advantage so you can finish your opponent off earlier. So very good play by Clamchop here. He took his time, got maxed out, got those upgrades, didn't get all the upgrades he should have, in my opinion. Also, I didn't like that Baneling nest. I mean, it was used very effectively later on in the mid game to harass this expansion. It was used very, very, very effectively. He had good map control. He contained his opponent. Well, contained. It wasn't really a hard contain on the outside of his base, but his opponent couldn't expand because he didn't have the units to support those expansions. So very good play there. And that's pretty much it for this replay. I will be doing now of Brood Boy, I think, and then I have 2 others after that to do. Hopefully I'll get Brood Boys done right after this one, and maybe the 2 others even I'll get them done today as well. Well, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you guys next time.